Illuminati. 38, Colette Razorcat. Number 394, Punky Pie. Number 4, Sherman. Number 41, Joliet Jane. Number 7, Skatey Katie. Number 88, Miss Murder. Number 9, Jess West. And number 95, Lightning the Queen. And we also have our officials for Game 11, which will be Tenacious D-Cup, Danger Muffin, Queen of Catitude, Rhodes Warrior, Velma Deckley, Kate Catastrophe, Quick Grayson, Reed DeRules, Mike Some Noise, Sweet and Sour Candy, Admiral Mayhem, Bambi Lance, Artie FM, Bon Appetit, Alan Your Grill, Class Warfarin, Dysentery, and Carmen Dragon. All right, 24 seconds to time to Derby. Getting ready on the track for this showdown between Team Montana and Arizona Roller Derby.
And we are off, ready to get this show on the road. And we are in it. That is Sparta Crush and Frida on the jam line. Pack not making a lot of progress. Both defenses holding it down in place. We've got Team Montana pivot bridging the gap here. We are really frozen in place here. These are two very strong tripods. We got Big Perm in the chat saying, "Go Sparta." Big Perm, low-key, one of my favorite blockers to watch this tournament. Oop, and Arizona's blocker getting sent to the box, giving Sparta an opportunity to break out of the pack and pick up that first lead jammer position. Oop, and we have a star pass for Arizona to Skatey Katie. Skatey Katie also the captain, by the way.
That they are. So at the end of that jam, we have 3 points for Team Montana on the board. Arizona Roller Derby kept scoreless. Looks like it'll be a pack advantage for Team Montana as two blockers did go to the box here. And we will start this next jam, jam number 2 between Punky Pie and who's that for Team Montana? That is Fogey. Fogey only has one more to beat, takes the inside lane and is assigned lead. Meanwhile, Punky Pie following closely behind, having pretty much strong-armed their way through that pack. We do see the return of the Arizona blocker, Mercedes. But just before Punky could reach the pack, it looks like Fogey calls the jam. And we do see 3 points on the board, bringing the score up to 6 points, keeping Arizona Roller Derby scoreless here. 2 jams in.
That is Roland Rogue and Hella Naughty on the jam line. Once again, the pack being held pretty much in place. We have two incredibly strong defenses here. But Hella Naughty manages to break through, pick up lead for Arizona. Oh, I take that back. Hella Naughty got sent to the penalty box. So it is a power jam for Team Montana. Yeah, still no lead jammer. And Team Montana's pivot getting sent to the penalty box. As Hella Naughty gets back on the track, ending that power jam with not only without a score, but also without a lead jammer. Oh, we have no lead jammer. That makes sense with the what with the penalties and such. Thank you to the chat for correcting our pronunciation on Foggy there. We actually had just had a conversation about whether we were right. It was a 50-50 shot, and we lost that gamble, but that's what we got you for.
Yep, we live and we learn.
4 points on that last jam for Arizona, bringing the score to 6-4 Montana.
All right, getting set up here for jam number 4. We do see West Coast Mafia here on the track. That is going to be at the Canyon Building and Design jammer line. We have West Coast Mafia going up against Daisy Juke. West Coast Mafia is being recycled to the back. Meanwhile, Daisy Juke is really running their feet and finding some room on the outside lane here, being assessed lead. Daisy Juke coming back around. We do see the start in hand for West Coast Mafia. West Coast Mafia trying to find some room on the outside lane, but being recycled back. We do see the return of Daisy Juke around the track, coming around for some points. West Coast Mafia through on their initial. Do see some offense assistance here from Team Montana for their jammer. Daisy Juke still trying to work the pinch here, but just as West Coast Mafia closes in, Daisy Juke calls it. How many points shook out of that? Daisy Juke pulls out 3 points for Team Montana, bringing up the score to 9, keeping Arizona Roller Derby at 4. So Team Montana 9, Arizona Roller Derby 4.
I know this is one of those games that a lot of people were looking forward to, even those who are not necessarily Arizona or Montana fans, because these are two very well-matched teams. So it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out. That is Sparta Crush and West Coast Mafia. West Coast Mafia obviously still in the box. That's so it is a power start for Montana. This is a long bridge. We're bridging like a full quarter of the track here. As West Coast Mafia gets back on the track and Sparta is released, picking up that lead jammer position. Ooh, West Coast Mafia. Three points for Montana on that last jam, bringing the score to 12-4 Montana. We've got one in the box for Montana. Montana's pivot is in the box, so a little bit of a pack advantage here for Arizona, and a pivot advantage, I suppose.
5-second call here on the track. We do see Frida going against Foggy. Frida working up the inside track and out with lead. Just as Foggy is now to the inside lane and being recycled back here by Razor Cat and Joliet Jane. Skatey Katie giving some offensive assist to help Frida through for a full 4 points here. We do see Foggy out on their initial. Frida calling for their teammates to run up, to run some O here and grab a few more points before they call it after knocking down that blocker there at the end of that jam. All right, at the end of that, Frida picks up 7 points for Arizona Roller Derby, bringing it to a 1-point jam. Team Montana at 12 points and Arizona Roller Derby at 11. 6 jams in. Pretty close contest, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. That was a pretty pivotal jam there for Arizona. Haha, pivotal. But
Speaking of pivotal, we'd like to thank Revolution Training for sponsoring our pivot line. Revolution Training is Tempe's home for fitness and athletic training. Definitely check them out. They are spectacular. Meanwhile, on the track, we do see Punky Pie with lead here. Meanwhile, and Roland Rogue being sent to the box along with a Arizona blocker here. Punk working up the track, trying to get some points here.
That was a tough wall to come up against, and Punky broke right on through.
Definitely strong legs. We do see Just West and I'm a Blow Bio working on keeping a goat to the back and now working on some offense for Punk. We do see the return of Miss Murder to the track to offer some assistance to their teammates. Punky Pie now just having one more to beat and is almost taken out of bounds, but is through for another 4 points here. We do see the return of Roland Rogue onto the track, working the tripod at the back of the pack. Team Montana offering some assistance here, but the tripod holding fast. Punky Pie, meanwhile, working on another scoring pass here. Working the back of the pack now. Pretty much a little bit of a switcheroo. Roland Rogue does get through, but at the end of that, Punk calls the jam, and we see 11 points on the board, lead change. Arizona Roller Derby now at 22 points to Team Montana's 12. This is the highest scoring jam so far, made by Punky Pie. So let's take a look and see what happens next.
Arizona starting with their pivot in the box. We got Daisy Juke and Hella Naughty on the jam line. Arizona playing some offense, trying to clear the way. Ooh, but looks like Daisy Juke managed to sneak by and pick up lead. We got a little bit of a jammer race here, and Daisy Juke calls it off. A no-score jam.
All right, so it looks like we are getting set up here for jam number 9. Do you see a pack advantage here for Team Montana, as they do have full 4 on the track. We do have a pivot standing in the box for Arizona. This will be a contest between West Coast Mafia and Sparta Crush. Sparta Crush pretty quick on, running up through the inside lane, trying to go through the tripod set up here at the front of the pack. West Coast Mafia working on their own tripod at the back of the pack and getting some assist from Jess West, who returns from the penalty box. We do see Star in hand, but Sparta Crush through on the inside lane for 4 points. Meanwhile,
we did have a star pass there for Arizona.
Right, Just West now with Star on helmet, coming back around to see if they can catch up to score some points. But Sparta Crush calling that jam after getting the points that they wanted.
Sparta Crush finishing that with a little bit of a flippy at the end.
That's true. We have 6 points on the board for Team Montana, 18 points to Arizona Roller Derby's 22. That is a 100% success rate for number 23. That would be Sparta Crush. So definitely a good run for that jammer.
We got those jammers getting low. Getting low on the jam line. We've got Foggy and Frida jamming. Foggy coming right up against this front tripod here, not wasting any time. One of those blockers getting sent to the box, giving Foggy a little bit of an opportunity here to break through and pick up lead. Just a 4-point differential here, so Montana will be looking to make that up. Looks like Arizona was thinking about making a star pass, changed their mind. And Foggy's trying to break through, not quite making it, calling it off. We'll see if there were any. No. Nope. Oh, no, there were. Sorry. 2 points. 2 points for Montana on that last jam, bringing the score to 22-20. These teams are keeping it close. It is two very highly skilled teams we're looking at here.
I do agree. Here we go. So we do see at the end of that jam, though, we have penalty being assessed to, I believe, I'm a blue bias, so we will have a bit of, actually, it looks like it's going to be a 2 versus 2 blocker formation for each team, but Punky Pie makes quick work of that and is out with lead. Meanwhile, Rolling Rogue is still working the front of the pack and finds some room on the outside lane. Punky Pie back around and working the inside lane, basically running sleds at this point. One more player to beat and out for 4 points. Looks like number 37, Rolling Rogue, being sent to the box. So this is a power jam, folks. Power jam for Arizona. We do see the return of Arizona blockers here. So 2 of them making, just as I say that, we do see the pivot for Arizona Roller Derby being sent to the box. Meanwhile, Rolling Rogue back on the track. Punk being held by a tripod here. And Rolling Rogue only having 1 more to beat and is out, making 4 points. Looking to their bench, Punk does see that they have told her to call it and listens and calls it. At the end of that jam, let's see how many points shook out there. Arizona Roller Derby making 8 points on the board to Team Montana's 4. So we are at 24 points, Team Montana, 30 points, Arizona Roller Derby, with 14 minutes and a half left in the first half of this game.
Starting off this next jam, Arizona's pivot is in the box. Oh, and it looks like we're going to have an official timeout. If this is for debris, I'm going to lose it.
I mean, we got to keep these floors squeaky clean, man. See how many wheels are out there?
80,
1.
I think somebody said. Is that the math? I haven't done the math on it.
Who knows? I don't do math.
Yeah, me either. That's what we have a producer for.
English, so that
Yes.
it goes to show you how well I did in math.
And we are off. We got Daisy Juke and Hella Naughty on the jam line out there. Daisy Juke is juking back and forth, looking for a break here. Almost found it, and then lost their balance, and then that tripod really took advantage of that extra moment there. Oop, and there goes Hella Naughty, breaking out of the pack, picking up lead. As Daisy Juke looks like they are potentially looking to make a pass here. Hella Naughty coming back around, knocking right up into that tripod there. We've got a little bit of it. Well, we don't need to bridge. Both tripods are close enough.
It's like a game of chess. You see an opportunity to run some O, and you just kind of switch around based on your position, and that's what let Hella Naughty through. Hella Naughty coming around for another scoring pass here. Meanwhile, we do see Daisy Juke being recycled to the back. Whoop. Looks like Razor Cat is being sent to the box. All right.
Daisy Juke still, I believe, looking to break out of the pack initially.
Yeah, I do believe you're correct. And that what is it, turn 3 that they're working on right now.
Yeah.
But that tripod is holding fast. It is a grind out there for both jammers. Definitely what we would call the sad place. Not a place you want to be caught as a jammer. It's exhausting. It's grueling. But
Oh, it looks like we had a star pass for Montana to show me your kitties. Arizona picking up 10 points on that last jam, bringing the score to 40-24 Arizona. Show Me Your Kitties also winning one of my favorite names of the tournament so far.
I do believe Johnny Pepper mentioned that it is Catter Day, so anybody in the chat, at home with your cats, just let them know we appreciate them just as you appreciate them. Back on the track here, we have West Coast Mafia going up against Sparta Crush. Sparta Crush working the inside, working towards getting through the inside, but is meeting up with a blocker formation here. One more to beat has I'm a Blobaya up at the front to beat, and just almost out, and is assessed lead. Sparta Crush out. Meanwhile, West Coast Mafia with star in hand is looking to see if their pivot will be able to take it, but decides to keep pushing through, just as Miss Murder is being sent to the box.
Turned out to be a good choice.
Right. Well, sometimes you just got to wait a second, but every second counts here in roller derby. But as I say that, West Coast Mafia out on their initial.
As another Arizona blocker headed to the box, which means Montana's going to start this next jam with a nice little pack advantage. Score differential is, we got 12 points standing in between Montana and Arizona, so they could use it for sure.
That's correct, but Arizona Roller Derby has been training for these instances, so we'll see what happens. As I do see Frida on the track here. Frida being known to having some success as a jammer, maybe just a little bit.
Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit of success.
We do have Foggy on the line, though, just as I say that, going out and getting lead. We do see offense being worked by Arizona Roller Derby to get Frida through, and will we see Frida free? Frida.
Free Frida.
And Frida is free on their initial, and we do see the return of the Arizona Roller Derby pivot. And does knock them out to the outside lane, giving time for the Montana Jammer to call it after making 3 points on the board for Team Montana, bringing them up to 31 points to Arizona Roller Derby's 40.
Just about 10 minutes left in this first half. The score is very tight. That is Punky Pie and Rollin' Rogue on the jam line. Sort of a alliteration battle here. Punky Pie immediately breaking out of that pack and picking up that lead jammer spot. Rogue still struggling a little bit here against a nice solid Arizona tripod. Up at Montana's blockers back in from the penalty box, coming to help out, play a little offense in the front here. Those Arizona blockers really doing a good job of holding that Montana jammer back. We got another nice long bridge. It's like the Verrazano out here. There we go. And Rogue is through.
Team Montana definitely did not give Punky Pie much room to make any more than just 4 points on that exchange. But Team Montana was held scoreless, so we do see them still at 31 to Arizona's now 44 points with 8 minutes left.
I'm always impressed when I see two blockers really effectively holding down the defense, because that's so instrumental to be able to leave half of your blockers out there to play offense.
Oh, definitely.
We got Hella Naughty and Daisy Juke on the jam line here. None in the box. You love to see it. Ooh. Hella Naughty almost out, but stepping outside on the outside line there. Recycling all the way to the back. I wish I'd been keeping track of how many jams stayed right at that pivot line for that long. And Helenati's through, picking up lead. As the pack's getting scrappy, knocking Montana into the infield, recycling them all the way to the back as Helenati comes back around for an initial scoring pass. And slices on through, barely even slowing down, really. I see where Daisy Juke gets their name from. I've seen lots of juking from Daisy Juke. Oh, and we got a start pass to Show Me Your Kitties. Got some nice coach-player communication out here. Checking to see, do I call it, do I not?
Definitely important to know who you're supposed to talk to on and off the track.
Yes.
Leads to success. Leads to not losing any points to your opponent. Super important.
I think it's nice also to be able to leave the strategy to the coaches so you can just focus on skating.
Yeah. Work harder.
Yeah.
Is the name of the game, but definitely work smarter is better.
Yeah.
All right, we do see Sparta Crush on the track against West Coast Mafia, but Sparta Crush pushing up that Arizona tripod here. We do see West Coast Mafia being recycled back, almost to the jammer line. Jess is holding the pack definition here while the tripod works to keep back Sparta Crush. Sparta Crush now only having basically just 2 more to beat. And we do see a blocker being sent to the box, I believe for a forearm. But West Coast Mafia successfully passes the cover over to Jess West, who has successfully put it on. And we do see Sparta Crush coming around for a scoring pass. Takes that inside lane and checks to see if they need to call it, and they do, but not before Jess West hits the pack. Did any points get made by Arizona there? I see a zilch.
Nope.
Oh, nope.
Got 3. They just took them an X minute to put it up there.
Yeah, you always got to wait a second or else it makes you look like a fool every time.
I know. The number of times that I have confidently said something that was totally opposite of what was on the scoreboard is high.
But 35 for Team Montana right now and 55 for Arizona Roller Derby. We have less than 5 minutes.
With one blocker in the box for Arizona. Ooh. An enthusiastic bump out on the inside as Arizona takes the lead. That is Frida jamming for Arizona. And Foggy up in the front there. Thinking about a star pass. Nope. Stuck with the star stash. Foggy also breaking out of the pack there. Frida working out on that initial scoring pass over there. Ooh.
Looks like Jolie Jane will stay in the box for 2 penalties, one for the initial penalty they were called for and the second for exiting the track improperly. So it's very important to know how to exit the track. What was that, 45 degrees? Or is it less than or more than that? Am I wrong or am I correct?
On what the angle to leave the...
Yeah. I know it's just a very short distance.
Yeah.
But here we go. Next jam, we see Helenati on the line against Rolling Rogue. Helenati working to offer some assistance here on the defense, waiting for some players to come back.
Yeah, looking a little thin on the track there before
giving
that
it
Arizona.
a second and takes the inside lane for lead. Meanwhile, Rolling Rogue looking for the same path, but finds a better path on the outside lane and is out on their initial. We do see Helenati coming back around for some points, getting some offensive help from their team. Not before getting a few points out of that exchange, and Team Montana also just sneaking in a couple.
Ooh, 4
Looks
points
like
for Montana, 3
point
for Arizona.
Montana.
Score is 62-41 Arizona with just under 3 minutes left in this first half.
All right.
Definitely very much still anybody's game.
Still a whole second half to go.
Yes. That is West Coast Mafia and Daisy Juke. Oh, Daisy Juke immediately out of the pack, picking up that lead right away, giving themselves the full 2 to work with here. Meanwhile, we've got a star pass for Arizona to Sure Man. You want the star? Sure, man. I'll take it.
Sure, man.
Yeah, sure. May as well.
Yeah, I'll take that cover. Sure, man.
Yeah. That's how I imagine it happens. Is like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess. I mean, if you want, I'll take the star.
Exactly. All right, we're getting set up here for possibly the last jam. We don't know unless the timeout is called. Then this is the penultimate one, just as Pepper has said before. 5-second call on the track here. Everybody at the Canyon Jammer line.
We got Sparta Crush and Frida jamming.
Yep. Sparta Crush working the front of the pack, has one more to beat, spins around in his assessed lead. Frida still working the lines, and with the help of Miss Murder, gets through on the inside lane. Speeding up, trying to catch up to Sparta Crush. Sparta Crush asking for some O. Getting past some hips, and decides to call it before the Arizona Jammer can catch up to them. Team Montana then makes 3 points there, keeping Arizona pretty much scoreless there. We are now at 48 points, Team Montana, 62 points, Arizona Roller Derby. 1 minute left in the first half of this game.
That is West Coast Mafia jamming for Arizona and Foggy jamming for Montana, but West Coast Mafia is out like a shot. Foggy not far behind, breaking out of the pack. West Coast Mafia coming around for this scoring pass. Impressive how quickly and Foggy sliding through on the inside, coming up against that Arizona pivot though. But that pivot is forced to let go, giving Foggy the opportunity to make that initial scoring pass. West Coast Mafia now also picking up their own 4 and then calling it off. And I believe that that's going to be the half.
Just give it a second.
Yeah, we'll see. Yep, and that's going to be the
correct.
half. All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break. Go ahead and stretch your legs. Head over to the raffle table. Once again, we're raffling off that.
Hey folks, did you know that your head is not normal? No one's is. If your helmet size is a small, but your teammate's size is an extra large, wearing the same helmet shell doesn't just look kind of funny. The functionality of the EPS foam and how it disperses impact energy is compromised.
The 888 certified sweat saver comes in better shell size options than our leading competitor,
giving you the highest level of protection upon impact. Try for yourself. We've got you.
right, guys, let's give it up. We have less than 2 minutes here, almost 1 minute left in this halftime. Cheer for our teams, Team Montana and Arizona Roller Derby. We have this second half prepared for you. We are excited to see the outcome of this game. We did see a little bit of a kind of a penalty trouble here in the first half for Team Arizona. I believe they had, what was it, 24 penalties? Let me find my post-it note. Let's see, yeah. Looks like Montana did keep it a little cleaner in terms of penalties. They only had 9 penalties, mostly forearms, maybe a destruction, I believe, a cut here and there. Team Arizona, meanwhile, did have a couple of multiplayers, destruction, forearms, cut tracks, but second half usually is when everybody just kind of gels together and brings that energy back down.
Everybody just chills out a little bit.
Huh?
They just chill out a little bit.
Yeah, just a cleaner game, just to reassess what you could fix from the first half.
Yeah, get some focus. The
Definitely.
winner of this game, by the way, is going to go ahead and play the winner of tonight's 8 p.m. game between Rat City and Santa Cruz. And that will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. So those are the stakes. That's what we're playing for.
They couldn't be lower. Or higher, depending.
Yeah.
We have high standards. Trust me, we do.
We are out there on the track, ready to go. There's the 5-second. And we're off. We got Sparta Crush and Frida on the jam line with 1 in the box for Arizona, but standing, so not for too long. And Sparta Crush is out, as is Frida. And Sparta Crush is going to call it, not even going to risk it, just going to call it before they get back to that pack. So no score there on that jam.
All right, setting up for Jam 2 here between Team Montana and Arizona Roller Derby. We do see West Coast Mafia set up here up against, who is that? They're hiding. That's Foggy for Team Montana. Just slowly moving away from the Canyon Jammer line here. West Coast Mafia trying for both sides, seeing which is the path of least resistance, pushing up, getting some offensive assist from Just West. Meanwhile, the tripod holding fast to Foggy in the back. Looks like one of the Team Montana blockers is being sent to the box for a forearm. Just as we see West Coast Mafia out with lead for Team Arizona. We do see a star pass to the number 3-6, the pivot for Montana. That would be Double D. But before they could come around to the pack, West Coast Mafia calls it. And we have 4 points on the board for West Coast Mafia, bringing up Arizona to 70 points to Team Montana's 52.
Just an 18-point gap here. A very bridgeable gap in roller derby, to be sure. Getting ready to go. We got 1 in the box for Montana, 1 blocker in the box. And we're off. That is Daisy Juke jamming for Montana and Frida jamming for Arizona. Frida up against this Montana tripod here. Getting a little bit of an assist from, who is that? From Colette Razorcat. As Montana's final blocker gets back on the track and Frida manages to break through, pick up lead. Ooh, and Daisy Juke just sort of skips by the pack on the outside line. That was really, really nice to watch. Beautiful line work. And Frida picks up a couple points and then calls it off. 4 points there for Arizona. Arizona's pivot, however, ended up in the box there, so they're going to be starting 1 down on this jam.
5-second call here on the track. We do see Punky Pie here going up against Rolling Rogue. Rolling Rogue getting some help from Double D. Double D giving some quick offense here. Jess is holding on to them quick, but is being held back by Jess West just long enough for Punky Pie to get through with lead. Jess West pointing to Punky Pie, letting them know, hey, I'm going to give you some offense. Follow me. We do see Rolling Rogue looking for Double D to pass the Star 2, as they do have Star in hand, but Arizona keeping them separated. It is a heartbreaking moment for these Star-Crossed lovers. Cover is passed over to Double D, but Double D is being recycled by Arizona. Just as well, Punky Pie is also being recycled to the back. Tripod holding fast to Punky Pie to allow Double D some time to work on the tripod for Arizona Roller Derby here at the front. Just has one more little seam to break through. Get some offensive assist here from their teammate. Punk getting some offense as well from Sherman.
Ooh, that was that offensive assist came from Roland Rogue, who was the original jammer.
Yeah, see, it's super important to know that jammers do try to block every once in a while, which is just as well.
You got to be well-rounded.
Yes, every position is important and every position is worth learning.
We got some Arizona love in the chat. Some support for Arizona Roller Derby from Arizona Derby Dames, which is the bank track team. So you love to see that bitractual affection.
Yes, and they have sponsored our lovely Cactus Cup tournament. So thank you, Derby Dames, for all the love.
We got West Coast Mafia and Foggy on the jam line. Oop, and a multiplayer block, or a penalty called on Arizona as Foggy sneaks on through. Impermeable like the fog. Impermeable? I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean.
I catch your drift.
Foggy coming back through. Just one more blocker to be here as West Coast Mafia sneaks around. And Foggy calls it off. Four points on the board for Montana on that jam, bringing the score to 78-56.
As you can tell, each jam is just low scoring, low points every jam, because these teams have just solid blocking formations. Regardless of how much offense is being thrown, if your blocker formation is set up correctly, you'll see these low scoring jams every time. Meanwhile, we are seeing Sparta Crush having to deal with Skatey Katie here at the front and is out with lead. Frida, with Star in hand, is looking to Skatey Katie to pass the duties over to, and is successfully passed on over to Skatey Katie. Skatey Katie now the jammer of record, trying to work through that tripod for Team Montana. Sparta Crush having some success at separating Arizona here for a moment. And is through for 4 points. We do see Amadou Bayou offering some offense to their teammate. Skatey Katie trying to see if they can find some daylight on the inside lane, and
taking a tumble on the inside there.
Yep. Is through, clears their initial. Looks
Got
like
an Arizona blocker getting sent to the box there.
all right.
Montana calls it off. We now also have some Montana love in the chat. I said there was Arizona love in the chat, and Montana fans went, excuse me. And they all started speaking up on the Twitch, so plenty of love for both teams, as well as greetings from High Altitude Roller Derby from Flagstaff, Arizona. Greetings to you, High Altitude Roller Derby from Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yes, our friends from Hard, we love you guys, and hopefully some of you guys are in-house as well, watching this wonderful game going on between Team Montana and Arizona. But if you are still at home and you're watching on Twitch and you have a Prime subscription, if you want to avoid ads, you can always subscribe to your ad-free Twitch through that Prime account. So just make sure to check and see if you have that option, because nobody likes watching ads when you're trying to keep track of
We got an
roller
official review here called, I believe, by Arizona. I think I saw the arms go in that direction. Yes, official review called by Arizona. So we're just gonna wait and see what they're looking for here, and our officials will go ahead and update us, hopefully momentarily.
Right, and we did get some updates on what the penalties are looking like right now. It looks like Montana is standing at 10 penalties to Arizona's 28.
Oof.
So those penalties are racking up, but again, that just comes to show what happens in a contact sport in general. You're going to see some things.
Yeah, looking at the
happen.
penalty tracker, Arizona has two players that are up to 5 penalties apiece. In the warning zone, they turn yellow when they're getting close to that 7 number.
It's hard work keeping yourself steady and ready on the track.
Especially if, as you get more tired, it becomes more difficult to play clean. And in a tournament, that's bound to happen.
Right. Well, we would like to take this time to give a shout out to Revolution Training. Revolution Training is Tempe's home for fitness and athletic training, offering 24-hour open gym access, unlimited classes with specialized expertise in powerlifting and women's strength training. Individual and small group training available. Just contact Mike to get started today with Revolution Training.
Team Arizona used their official review to review contact to one of the white blockers during the last jam made by the black jammer. Black jammer will start in the box for a back block call, and they will retain the review. Thank you.
I think that is actually one of the first official reviews I've seen this tournament that was retained. I've seen a lot of official reviews that were.
It was either used for a timeout or it was just not successful. So yeah, definitely a good boon here for Arizona to pad the lead here. We do see West Coast Mafia taking up the track, running up with some speed and force, has one more to beat. And almost got hit out by the pivot for Team Montana, but West Coast Mafia out with lead, getting ready to come back around for a scoring pass here. Team Arizona trying to hold back a blocker here. Does get caught up in that offense a little bit, but is working their way around. Team Arizona assessing and seeing if they need to offer some assistance. But they are preparing for the return of Sparta Crush here on the track. Frida coming along with them. Frida going in for some offense for West Coast Mafia. West Coast Mafia coming around and making 4 points here on the board. Frida giving a hand signal that they're going to offer some offense here on the outside lane. West Coast Mafia coming in through, finds some room on the inside and is out for another 4 points. Meanwhile, the star had been passed to the pivot for Team Montana. West Coast, seeing that, has called the jam, bringing up Team Arizona to 82 points at the end of that jam, keeping Team Montana at 64 with 21 and a half minutes left in the second half of this game.
Some really solid defense there on Montana's part. That power jam could have been pretty devastating if Arizona had had run away with it, and Montana did a good job of holding that down. We got Punky Pie jamming for Arizona and Daisy Juke jamming for Montana. Punky Pie up against these last two, three blockers. That pivot coming in to play a little bit O. Meanwhile, Daisy Juke is struggling up against that strong tripod in the back. Skaty Katie assisting Punky Pie. It's trying to sort of a split focus between assisting and maintaining the bridge here. But it looks like Punky Pie's almost through, and there you go. And there you have it. Punky Pie picks up that lead jammer position. Meanwhile, Daisy Juke is still having a hard time breaking out of the pack. Punky Pie picking up 4 points on that initial scoring pass, Meanwhile, we have a star pass on for Montana to Show Me Your Kitties. Show Me Your Kitties out of the pack as well. Punky Pie picking up some more points before calling it off. We'll see if Show Me Your Kitties made it to the pack in time to pick up a little point there. It doesn't look like it, though. 7 points for Arizona on that last jam, bringing the score to 93-64.
Some love in the chat for Punky Pie, saying that Punky Pie is my favorite jammer. And I would also like to say Punky Pie is my favorite jammer because they're my co-captain on home teams, and I'm a little biased. All right, and on the track here we have Frida on the line going against Rolling Rogue. Rolling Rogue working towards the lines, trying to see where their offense is going to offer them the best position to get through here. Frida working the tripod in the back, get some offensive help from Razorcat. Razorcat pushing up. It's a bit of a scrum here, getting close to the Revolution pivot line. Frida looking towards Just West for some offense and is through with lead. Meanwhile, we're seeing penalties being assessed to the Montana blockers, so they are down to 2 blockers on the field here.
Ooh, an apex jump there from Frida.
Frida getting through. Frida is free.
Oh, but we had a star
so
pass.
is Stout, who is the jammer of record now for Team Montana. Frida looking to the bench and calls it before Stout is able to do anything for their team here. We do see Arizona making it to the century mark, now at 101 to Team Montana's 64 with 18 minutes left in the second half. And we do see a timeout being called by Team Montana to assess the damage.
Yeah, that was an eventful little jam there.
I do love a little jam.
Lots going on. Both of these teams play. They're very sort of like locked in and focused, whereas you see some teams that are very scrappy right away, and these are two very smooth teams.
Well, you know, it's definitely a lot less pressure after playing a game against Rose. So, you know.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like playing a game against Rose.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to play with somebody around the same seating as you're closer to your seating.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
But we would like to give a shout out to our medics who have graciously, you know, given their time to keep our skaters safe and healthy and assess any injuries they may have on the track. So thank you, medics, for being here for us, and any volunteers who are here today that are making this tournament just keep running smoothly. I appreciate you guys.
Ooh, I didn't even notice that Arizona crossed the 3-digit mark there, so bringing the score to 101-64. Johnny Pepper calls that filling the first bucket. West Coast Mafia jamming for Arizona, Foggy jamming for Montana. As that final Montana blocker gets back on the track, and West Coast Mafia pulls ahead out of the pack, picking up lead. Meanwhile, it looks like we've had a star pass, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, a star pass to Show Me Your Kitties for Montana, who a very successful star pass there, breaking out of the pack, forcing West Coast Mafia to call off the jam. Very nicely done. Just 2 points there for Arizona. That star pass worked exactly as intended.
187 killer pads, often imitated, never duplicated. Stick with the best. 187 killer pads. Sponsors of Arizona Roller Derby and many teams on the lineup for a Cactus Cup tournament here. Thank you, 187. And also thank you, 888. Now back to the action here. We have Punky Pie on the track going against Sparta Crush. Sparta Crush being kept at the back, but see some daylight on the inside lane. Will they get through? Not quite. Arizona Roller Derby quick to recycle. Wait a second, just as I say that, they have some momentum, but no, Punky Pie finds that path for themselves through on the inside lane. Punk is now lead, but we do see Stout taking over jammer duties for Team Montana. Montana is closing in just as Punk was getting points here. Point was made for Punky Pie, bringing them up to 104, keeping Team Montana at 264. Believe that is a 5 lead streak for Arizona, and 4 jams that Team Montana is held scoreless. So a lot of work being put out there for Arizona Roller Derby.
Yeah, Arizona definitely picking up some momentum in the second half for sure. We've got Frida and Daisy Juke on the jam line. Daisy Juke getting knocked out on the outside. Frida also knocked out on the outside. Recycled to the back. Ooh. Pack has not really made it much further than the pivot line here. Again, just a really solid sign of excellent defense on both teams' parts. Daisy Juke getting recycled to the back. Recycled all the way to the back by, that was Colette Razorcat. Truly, this pack has not moved. Ooh. Got a high block penalty on one of Montana's blockers as Daisy Juke breaks out of the pack. That was a full minute before we got a lead jammer there. Again, just really solid defense. Daisy Juke up against a tripod here on this first scoring pass. Ooh, we had a start pass to Skatey Katie for Arizona. Ooh, Daisy Juke not quite making it all the way past, but I think definitely picking up at least a couple points there before getting bumped out. At least that's what it looked like to me, but you never know. I am a little blind, but that's why I'm not a ref. There we go. Daisy Juke, yes, he picked up 4 points there. Bring the score to 104-68, Arizona.
Zico, hydrate your thirst for life. It's simple. If it requires any effort, Zico helps you hydrate for it. Follow them on Instagram at Zico Coconut. Whistle being blown for the jam to start. West Coast Mafia given some assistance by Just West to allow them through for lead here. We do see Rogue with cover in hand, successfully passing the start over to Stout. Stout coming back around, trying to catch up to West Coast Mafia. West Coast Mafia having one more to beat and is escorted to the outside. After making a few points, West Coast calls the jam. We have 3 points on the board for Arizona Roller Derby, bringing them up to 107 to Team Montana's 68. 13 minutes and 30 seconds left in this matchup between Team Montana and Arizona Roller Derby.
West Coast Mafia quickly becoming my favorite jammer in this game. Also, worth noting, fantastic hair.
Is pretty signature. I don't think I've ever seen them with anything other than like a burgundy red hair. It looks great.
We got Punky Pie jamming for Arizona and Foggy jamming for Montana. In the chat, we've got a Montana fan who wants to see Stout jam. Both jammers up against solid walls here. Oh, but Foggy managing to get past Arizona there, pick up lead. Punky Pie still struggling with oh. And as I said it, it became no longer true. Punky Pie also out of the, ooh, taking a little bit of a tumble and calling it off. Team Montana picked up 1 point there, bringing the score to 107-69. Nice. Arizona going to be starting this jam with 1 blocker in the box. Oh, and we've got an official timeout.
This timeout brought to you by 888, the certified sweat saver from 888, top of the line safety standards and unmatched fit options. Certified sweat saver helmet from 888 is designed for derby, vert ramps, and everything in between. They bring the best features and fit options for any derby helmet on the market. So get your 888 helmet or put in your money for a raffle ticket to see if you can win a 888 helmet with a visor. So good thing to note. Good thing to note. All right, looking at the penalties here, it looks like penalties have been bumped up for Team Montana, 6 more to their previous 10. So we're now at 16 penalties for Montana to Arizona's 30. Definitely have some players who are at risk of fouling out, and everything else is spread out between players. So while we do see a pretty decent lead here for Arizona, it wasn't without sacrifices.
Although I will say, Arizona, both of those players that are in the yellow zone have not. They've both kept everything clean since we last mentioned it. So maybe they.
Why would you say that? You know the curse.
sorry. We got Sparta Crush and Frida jamming with one in the box for Arizona. Sparta Crush just sort of jogging right on through the pack, picking up lead. Meanwhile, we've had a star pass to Shoreman on Arizona, who also breaks out of the pack. Sparta Crush calling it off, picking up those 4 points, calling it off before Shoreman can get back around to the pack.
Yeah, it does look like Montana has figured out how to just keep back certain players from being any use for Arizona in helping them stop the Team Montana jammers. So Montana looks like they have assessed and figured out a plan to just kind of keep Arizona a little bit separated just long enough for their jammers to get through. As we see right now, we have on the line West Coast Mafia against Daisy Juke for Team Montana. Daisy Juke looking to the inside lane, juking around, trying to see if the outside is a better option. It is not. Pivot is working some offense, though. But the tripod for Arizona Roller Derby is trying to hold fast to Daisy Juke. West Coast Mafia being held at the back of the pack. We do see Miss Murder trying to offer some offense for their friend here, and does see some success. West Coast Mafia out following closely behind Daisy Juke, who has been assessed lead. It is a bit of a race here at this point. Team Montana holding back Skatey Katie for a point. Skatey Katie just thoroughly knocks them down to the ground. You may have earned that point, but it wasn't without some pain to follow up with that. Looks like Arizona Roller Derby. West Coast Mafia picked up 4, it looks like. 4 points for Arizona Roller Derby and 1 point for Team Montana. We are now at 74 points to Arizona's 111 with 10 minutes left in this contest.
And we're going to have another official timeout here.
Just give that a second, and let's thank our sponsors. Chrissy Crash. Crash Course helps build busy roller derby athletes increase strength, conquer self-doubt, and create habits of high performers to become all-stars and MVPs on the track and in life. Want to make 2-minute jams feel easy? Visit ChrissyCrash.com to learn more. Life is a contact sport. Win. We also would like to...
That official timeout just became an official review requested by Team Montana. That was an awfully hard hit there at the end of that last jam. So,
and it doesn't help that the official review will probably be against the Arizona Roller Derby's captain, Skatey Katie.
Yeah.
Who provided that pretty hard hit. But we'll let them convene, and we'll hear from them shortly. Let's thank our media sponsor, Stout Roofing. Stout Roofing offers free inspections and estimates valley-wide. They do all types of roofing, are highly experienced, have competitive pricing, and are willing to take on any project, no matter how big or small. If you have a leak, give them a call, 480-999-3525, or visit them online at stoutroofing.com. We would also like to thank our other media sponsor, RollerCon. Join us for RollerCon, the biggest and best roller skating event of the year, every summer in Las Vegas. Is it summer yet? No. I mean, here in Arizona, it almost is. Almost all year round.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer. But if you want to go to RollerCon this summer and avoid the Arizona heat and go to the Nevada heat, you can always put in your ticket, buy some raffle tickets for the MVP pass to RollerCon. Definitely will make your trip a little less expensive if you win. So
plus then you can just use that money and go gamble.
That's true. I wouldn't know anything about it. I don't, again, math. It's just more math. Why would I want more math? And also the opportunity to lose money? No, thank
See,
you.
I am terrible at math, but I love gambling. It's not a great combination.
Takes a lot of,
Can't count, can gamble.
yeah, it takes a lot of money to, fund that kind of habit, though. So
I
You
like to
know.
play small.
pick your poison,
Yeah.
right?
I feel the same way about gambling the way I feel about when a team is just picking up one little point at a time, just one little dollar at a time. I'm not here to play big.
Just chip away.
Exactly. If I earn enough for like the next day's lunch, I'm happy.
Fair enough. We would also like to thank Revolution Training. Revolution Training is Tempe's home for fitness and athletic training, offering 24-hour gym access, unlimited classes with specialized expertise in powerlifting and women's strength training. Just contact Mike to get started today.
Should be on.
It sounds like that official mic is turned on, which means we're about to get some information here.
Team Montana used their official review looking for a forearm call on the white blocker in the last jam. A no call will stand and they will lose the review. Thank you.
As we've mentioned before, it's very rare for an official review to be retained or to be won, so definitely worth a try, though.
Yeah, we've got 10 minutes left in the second half, so it's a use it or lose it situation when it comes to the official review. And we are off. We got Punky Pie and Rollin' Rogue on the jam line there, the Canyon jam line. Punky, almost through past that tripod, but getting bumped out on the outside. That is Lightning the Queen coming in for an assist. Oh, and Punky Pie is through, picking up lead. Oh, Rollin' Rogue took off the star, was thinking about making a pass, turned it into a star stash. Punky picking up 4 points there and then calling it off. Score is 115-74. The chat agrees with the officials' no call.
It's always nice to know that there is a consensus on and off the track.
Yeah, chat's official review looked legal but brutal.
Yeah, sometimes you forget that this is a full contact sport. But, sometimes it might be a little bit too much. All right, and we do see Frida on the track going up against Foggy for Team Montana. Looks like it's a little bit of a standstill here at the first straightaway. Foggy getting a hit out by Skatey Katie. Meanwhile, Frida looking towards the inside lane and is out with lead. Skatey Katie escorting Foggy into the tripod here. Do hear a whistle being called, and we see the pivot for Team Montana being sent to the box. So this will be all on Foggy to get out on their own. They cannot pass the cover until their pivot returns from the box. We do see Frida trying to get around the Team Montana tripod, but Team Montana is killing the penalty and trying to, stop the bleeding here. They are doing a great job at recycling Frida back here, escorting them gently back into their warm embrace. We do see Razor Cat offering some assistance here, breaking up that party in the back. Up at the front, we see Foggy contending with the solid tripod for Arizona Roller Derby, but we do see the return of number 306 for Team Montana. That would be Stout coming back to see if they can either offer some offense or take over for Foggy here. Do hear another whistle being called, and that will be Razor Cat off to the box. Birdie's box. Frida now just trying to work their hips in at that tripod in the back of the pack. This is a grind for both teams here. We are stuck here at the apex, but just as I say that, Foggy is out with a hop, skip, and a jump. Frida working their way around some hips before Foggy comes back around and calls it, bringing up their score to 119 with those 4 points. keeping Team Montana at 74 with 6.5 minutes left of the second half of this game.
We're starting this next jam with 1 in the box for Arizona. That is West Coast Mafia and Sparta Crush on the jam line. Sparta Crush getting bumped out on the outside. West Coast Mafia, delightful footwork on the inside line there. Oop. And Sparta Crush also out of the pack. West Coast Mafia looking to pick up a couple points here. Ooh, beautiful. Just lots of little hops there for West Coast Mafia, which often it's hard to stay on your feet while you're hopping around like that, but West Coast Mafia makes it look easy. 3 points for Arizona there, 1 point for Montana. Bringing the score to 122-75. Just about 5.5 minutes left in this game. That is Daisy Juke and Punky Pie on the Canyon Jam line. Got a forearm penalty on an Arizona blocker, so they're going to play one down as Punky Pie makes it on through the inside line, picking up that lead jammer position. Daisy Juke also out of the pack, about a quarter of a lap behind here. Punky Pie not even slowing down, just absolutely obliterating that pack, picking up those 4, calling it off. That was nice to watch. That was a good one.
Our
As opposed to the
just
others.
catching their breath over here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of addition when you're producing these things.
Yep. Got to keep track of everything so we know what they know. 5-second call for this next exchange between Frida and Rolling Rogue at the Canyon Building and Design jammer line. Frida trying to see where Lightning is offering some offense here for them. Does see Ima also providing some offense and has one more to beat, but escorted to the inside lane and recycled back. It looks like Rolling Rogue is in a better position to work their way up to the front. Tripod holding fast to Rolling Rogue here at the front. Frida, however, pushing their way through on the inside, has one pivot to work against, but escorted out of the track as they've been assessed a high block and being sent to the birdies penalty box. So this will be a power jam for Team Montana. Team Montana now going full offense to offer help to their jammer here, who is in position to possibly take over lead here for Team Montana and build up that score for them. This is the first jammer penalty for period 2 here. So definitely, while rare, it does happen for Frida. Frida now standing and waiting for their return to the track. And just as I say that, Frida now slowly making their way to the action here. Team Montana prepared at the back of the pack with their tripod. The pivot holding pack definition to make sure that Frida is held far, far back. But Rolling Rogue with just 24 seconds left to make some headway here for Team Montana. It's just held tightly in this pinch by Team Arizona and escorted to the inside lane, recycled back a little bit, and escorted right back into that pinch. Frida, however, is now pushing their way through and is out. They do not have lead, though. And that's the end of that jam. Its natural conclusion. No points, no lead. That's how crazy that blocking formation was for both teams.
That was it's always interesting to see how a power jam is going to go, because it could run away with them, or they could lock it down. And Montana, or Arizona rather, Arizona locked it down and kept Montana from taking advantage of that power jam. We've got Hella Naughty and Foggy on the jam line. with one each in the box, but that Montana pivot is standing. Just as Foggy makes it out of the pack, picks up lead. Helinati bumped out on the outside as that Montana pivot comes in to help out. Foggy, ooh, very nice. Just a hop, skip, and a jump right around those blockers and picking up 4 points. Meanwhile, Helinati also out of the pack now. Foggy approaching again, and ooh, almost had a nice smooth scoot through, but then got knocked out in the infield. 5 points for Montana on that last jam. Scores 126-80. I will say both of these teams are keeping the score. It's not a runaway. I'll tell you that. Starting this next jam with a clear penalty box. You love to see it. We've got just about 30 seconds left in this second half. West Coast Mafia trying for a, oh, Sparta Crush out and in the lead. Gonna be trying to make this jam count for Montana. West Coast Mafia getting scrappy, breaking out of the jam, of the pack rather. You can tell it's getting towards the end of the day. And that is the jam. Montana did manage to pick up a little point there. And that is the game. Our unofficial score is 126-81 Arizona. Give it up for both of our teams. A fantastic job. Fantastic game played by both of these teams here.
Stick around. Both teams stick around. We will be handing out MVPs. Just take to the side of the track near the announcer table once you're done with your photo ops, and we will give you, well, your photo ops and your high fives, and we will give you your MVPs. But congratulations, Arizona Roller Derby, and thank you so much, Team Montana, for quite the game. Oh, wait. Give it a second. There's a team timeout being called.
Oh, they stopped the clock at 1 second.
Oh, wow.
They're going to get one more jam out of it.
One more
There's
jam.
going to be one more jam.
We
They stopped the clock at 1 second.
Never mind. We do
One
love
more
one more
jam.
jam.
One more jam.
Everybody in the Twitch chat is screaming, one more jam, and we agree, there will be one more jam.
We've got an actual chant starting over there from the crowd.
Let's go, one more jam. And then we'll give MVPs.
Yeah, and then we'll do MVPs after that. Senior Poo Poo in the chat. Call me Jelly because there's about to be one more jam.
Oh, Pooh, Arizona misses you, but we know you just had to run off to the East Coast. But that's fine. We would still like to thank our sponsors and our vendors and our medics and our officials, our volunteers, all of the people who made this magic happen. You're all appreciated and loved. After this game, we will see a contest between Rose City Rollers, the Wheels of Justice, and Angel City Roller Derby.
That is going to be a hell of a game to watch.
It was the matchup we were wanting to watch anyways.
Yes,
so.
absolutely. All right, looks like we are ready to go on this jam, this unexpected jam. Ooh, we got making some noise over here on the bench. Punky Pie and Sparta Crush, your jammers. Ooh. Let the bodies hit
Punk
the
is
floor.
trying to follow their offense here and is through on the inside lane and is lead and just calls it.
Very nice. All right, so our unofficial score is still 126-81.
So now that we had our one more jam, we are now,
It's the principle of the thing, you know?
yeah. And there's the rolling whistle signaling the final score. Team Montana 81, Arizona Roller Derby 126. Line up and offer your congratulations to these teams for their hard-won and hard-fought points here. Thank you so much for joining us for this game, Twitch and in-house and in spirit. We love you all for joining us. All right, after your photo ops, we will be announcing MVPs. So stick around, Team Montana and AZRD. We will be calling out MVPs. All right, MVPs, come on up. For Team Montana, we have Blocker Stout, Jammer Foggy, Team Spirit, Show Me Your Kitties. And for AZRD, the MVPs for Blocker, Mercedes, Jammer, West Coast Mafia. And Team Spirit, Joliet Jane. Thank you guys for your hard work. Say hi to the camera. And say hi to Babe. Babe would like to take your photo.